Hi everyone, this is Kassie and these are the weekly tarot horoscopes for the week of December the 12th to December 18. Don't forget that every day I upload a short video with the card of the day, seeing the general energies and trends of each day. That's a general prediction, of course. If you want a more personal and more detailed prediction, you can always find me on my psychic platform www.kassikai.com, where you will get 3 free minutes with your subscription and extra free minutes every month. If you enjoy my videos and you like the way I interpret tarot, you can always subscribe to my channel, share and like, and don't forget to push the notifications icon so that you don't miss anything new that comes up in my channel. If you want to check out last week's predictions, you can do so by clicking on the link above. And today's deck is the Mystical Fairy Tarot. It's one of the fairy decks that you can find on the internet. And in my opinion, this is one of the most beautiful ones. But let's see what next week has in store for us. For Aries, we had the Judgment and now it's the Hierophant. You have two major arcana cards, one after another, which means that this is a rather important time period for you. There will be significant developments and you may not be able to see the significance of those events right away, because the Judgment is one of the karmic cards in tarot. And in hindsight, we are able to see what this or that meant, but for now, try to go with the flow and see where it takes you. Now with the Hierophant you got this week, something may get more official, either a professional or a personal relationship or a situation, or maybe you are waiting for a document to be issued. In any case, you should expect that something may come to completion and you will pass to the next stage. Now the Hierophant is associated with Taurus, and that means there may be a Taurus sun or ascendant person in your life. And the Hierophant is a very complex card in the sense that it can represent someone who's very protective, very supportive of you, but in his negative manifestation, it shows someone who's very rigid or very stubborn. And if you had an argument with such a person, it's very possible that they keep distance because they are expecting you to apologize. And I'm saying that because the Hierophant is a card of confession too. People go to the high priest, to the priest, to confess their sins. And in that sense, perhaps this person is waiting for an apology or a confession. Now, whether you will give them an apology or a confession is up to you and depends on the dynamics of your relationship, of course. And like I said, the Hierophant is Taurus, and the Taurus is associated with Venus. That's why the strong day of this week seems to be Friday. But something else is that relationships, personal relationships and love in general will be in your focus this week, because Venus rules relationships and also money. Maybe you will get good news regarding a financial issue that you were dealing with and it wasn't resolved. But this week it may get resolved. Also, good news are expected when it comes to higher education or learning, or a course you want to take, or if you want to apply to a school. And if you want to know how someone feels about you, this person has strong feelings that developed over a period of time, and they have serious intentions too. Now, if you're looking for romance, I admit that the Hierophant is not one of the most romantic energies or cards, which means that you will probably don't get romantic gestures from someone, but you will get something, a move or an energy that will show you that their intentions are good, are serious, and they are looking for something long-term. But they may be a little slow. Keep that in mind, because earth cards like this one are always slow. For Taurus, we had the Empress, and now it's the Six of Swords. The Empress is a card of abundance, it's a card of growth and also of love. So relationships and love must have been in your focus last week, and you must have experienced some interesting developments, growth, progress with someone. Now the Six of Swords is admittedly a more detached energy, in the sense that you may decide to take distance from a situation that may be a little stressful at times, or you don't know what to do about it. And usually in the Six of Swords you will see three people on a boat moving away from something towards a calmer shore. Now, if you notice, they do carry those swords with them. That means symbolically that the issues you are dealing with these days are not yet resolved. Yet you decide to take some distance from them, to see things from a different perspective, so that you feel less stressed and a bit more detached, a bit more cool. So if you're wondering how someone feels about you, this person may decide to take some distance for all the reasons I mentioned before, but that could be because they will take physical distance. Maybe they are traveling, or they will be away for a while, or you will be away for a while. But in any case, because the Six of Swords usually shows improvement of any situation, this distance seems to be beneficial for you. Also, astrologically, the Six of Swords is Mercury in Aquarius. Now that means that your thoughts will be more future-oriented, because Aquarius is our future, is our visions, is the way we envision our future. And that means that if the future you have in front of you is not very promising, then you may decide to take a different course, to move on from a situation. And that's something that often happens under the energy of the Six of Swords. You should expect some interesting developments around January 30 and February 8, while for this week the strongest days seem to be Saturday or Sunday. For Gemini we had the Seven of Cups, and now it's the Temperance. The Seven of Cups is a rather scattered energy, and that means last week you probably found yourself unable to focus, or you had to deal with many things, or there were situations that you could not resolve. And I admit that I don't see that changing this week, because you got the Temperance, a card of patience, and it basically means there are ongoing issues or developments that have not reached the final stages yet. So this week you will experience slow energies, but the Temperance will make you more proactive, and you will want to make things happen. But there will be some restrictions, some limitations, some delays even, and you may have to sit out and see and wait to see how things will progress. As it appears that not everything is in your hands at the moment, and there might be decisions that another person has to make before things start to move forward, or other people will be involved in a way that does not allow you to have the full control. This week there will be an opportunity to balance your emotions and also to stabilize a connection between you and another person. And there's also a great chance of healing. Could be emotional healing or physical healing, because this is a card associated with health and healing. You will probably have to find a way to blend two different energies. For example, two different expectations that you have, you and someone else, or different plans that need to somehow be reconciled. The Temperance is about accepting and honoring our differences, and this is a card of alchemy, which means that we should keep trying different methods until we find the one method that produces the results that we want. So if things weren't going the way you wanted them to go, don't hesitate to try new things and to explore new options. If you're wondering how someone feels about you, this person may have a mixture of feelings, and their feelings are not stable. They change and fluctuate between negative and positive, and that's because they haven't really made a decision about what they want to do. It appears that they are waiting for something to happen before they make a final decision, and that might take some time, which means that your patience may be tested with them, as their pace is considerably slower than yours. The time period between November the 21st and December 22 will be very significant because there will be further developments in a situation that will progress towards a new stage. The Temperance has a time frame of 2 weeks, so expect that the energies that you will experience this week will culminate in around 15 days. For Cancer, we had the Knight of Cups and now we have the Tower. The Knight of Cups is a very smooth and nice energy. It's a card of romance, a card of love, so probably something good happened in your personal relationships. You got a nice message or an invitation that made you feel good. Now the Tower is usually an unexpected revelation and the truth that will come out in a way that will change a situation. The Tower often comes with sudden realizations. It's a moment of clarity. So there might be a sudden change in a situation or in the dynamics of a relationship because you will feel that you suddenly see something that you could not see before. Now the Tower is one of the feared cards in Tarot and many don't like it, but I will say that the Tower is very useful for two things. The first thing is that if you are stuck in a situation for too long and you can't find a way out, often life will find a way to get you unstuck. That's usually a bit disruptive because it may create a situation that's not exactly what you expected or something that takes you by surprise and you don't know how to react. And the second reason that the Tower can be beneficial is if you cannot see something as it really is and you have the illusions about the situation, and then suddenly you learn something or you come to a certain realization, and that will shift your perception and you will see a situation or a relationship with very different eyes. Now that can feel a little disruptive, I admit, but at the same time it's usually much needed. So keep in mind that people this week will be unpredictable and you won't be able to rely on anything or anyone this week, as energies will be changing rapidly. The most important thing you can do under this influence is to go where the energy takes you, and don't try to go against the tide to resist, because that will cause even more trouble, even more anxiety. So try to remain flexible, because the universe is telling you that your life is in need of new directions. Astrologically, the Tower is associated with Mars, and Mars these days made some difficult aspects with the last full moon, so there's high risk of fights, of arguments. Watch your tongue, watch your words. And if you're wondering how someone feels about you, the Tower shows a very sudden shift, a change of heart, due to a shocking or unexpected realization that this person had, or a very disruptive experience or event that made them take a 180 turn. That means a situation or a relationship may drastically change, but keep in mind that the energy, the influence of the Tower will last for 1 or 2 weeks, so very soon you will find a new stability and you will be able to see something with new eyes. For Leo, we had the Knight of Pentacles and now it's the Empress. The Knight of Pentacles refers to practical issues, practical matters, your career, your finances, or the practical aspects of your life. So maybe last week you were dealing with practical things. And now you have the Empress. The Empress too is an Earth card, and Earth in general indicates practicalities. So this week your focus will still be on the same things, but also in your personal relationships, because the Empress is a card of love and it does show abundance, it does show growth, and it's also about taking care of your own needs. This week will be about what you want to have in your life. And even if last week maybe you were thinking about compromising something, this week will not be so. You will be much more determined to get what you want, what you deserve basically, and you will make yourself a priority, especially if you've been neglecting some of your needs for too long. This will be a good week to buy something beautiful or to make a beauty change. These days are very favorable for beauty changes. And if you want to know how someone feels about you, they have feelings for you, and they will show you that they love you, because the Empress is deeper feelings. It's not just sexual feelings. Although your sexual life will be intense too, it will be strong, sexual energies will be strong. And it's very possible that you will want to make something more official. And under the energy of both the Knight of Cups and the Empress, this will be a very good time to do so. The Empress in general shows growth and progress in every situation, so expect that this week there will be developments in things that were stuck. And although Earth cards are slow, and you got another Earth card last week, so it won't be a big and drastic change, at the same time you will be able to feel the progress. You will be able to feel that things are on the right track. Now, the Empress is associated with Taurus, and there might be someone in your life who's a Taurus sun or ascendant, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. That's why Friday, the day of Venus, will probably be the strongest day of this week. For Virgo, we had the Star, and now it's the Queen of Wands. The Star is a card of success, a card of optimism. It's the card of future, basically. So last week something must have happened, and it showed you how your future will be like. Whether you liked what you saw or not depends on your situation, of course. But in any case, the Queen of Wands, which is a card of great action, it's a high energy card, indicates that this week you will decide to take action and to create a future that's more positive, more promising for you. The Queen of Wands and Queens in general get things done, but this is the most active queen. She's a go-getter, basically, so nothing can stop her, and that's how you will feel this week. You will feel that nothing can stop you from going after what you want, going after your dreams. That doesn't mean that you should become too demanding, or you should start put unnecessary pressure on something, because that will create resistance, as it always does. But you will feel more determined to get what you want. And if you feel that there are situations in your life that make you put your own needs aside in favor of other people's needs, you won't tolerate that any longer, and you will ask for what you want, which is a good thing to do. Just make sure that you don't come across as too demanding. Now, the Queen of Wands is often someone in your life who's a fire sun or ascendant, usually an Aries. And if you're wondering how someone feels about you, their feelings are very warm, very positive. Wands are fire cards, and they always show positive feelings, sexual feelings also. Sexuality will be very strong this week, and you will see that you will be more direct in what you want from someone, more expressive too. Also, the time frame of this queen and queens in general is usually 2 weeks, so the energies of this week will continue to unfold and culminate within 2 weeks from now. Also, another thing that the Queen of Wands often means is that you will have to attend some social events, and maybe you are not in a mood to do that, you feel bored or you find them uninteresting, but you should do so. You should attend those events, because that will help your standing in a particular social circle. For Libra, we had the Fool, and now it's the Hanged Man. The Fool is a card of new beginnings. It's a card of potential. In essence, the Fool represents life's infinite potential, infinite possibilities. So perhaps last week a new door opened for you, and you were presented by many different options, many different possibilities. Now that's good if you were looking for change, but for some of you this energy may be a little scary, or if it was an unexpected shift you experienced, maybe that made you a little hesitant, not knowing what to do next. And that's actually the energy of the Hanged Man, because it basically means that you are taking some distance or you are taking a break in order to see things from a different perspective. That's why the Hanged Man is depicted upside down. Now, another thing that you should keep in mind under this energy is that the Hanged Man often points to a sacrifice we need to make. We need to make a choice in favor of another choice. And that could cause some hesitation, some uncertainty, and you may want to take some days, some weeks maybe to think things through and decide what your next step should be. If you want to know how someone feels about you, they seem to be taking some distance at the moment, or they are indecisive, they are hesitating. It's because you are not really on the same wavelength at the moment, because they are seeing things from a very different perspective. You cannot see eye to eye, and you cannot really feel what the needs and the expectations of the other person are. The Hanged Man is the number 12 of Major Arcana, and that means the situation will reverse and shift again in around 12 days. If you don't like what you see now, you may want to give it 10-12 days until things shift again, and you will be able to see a different picture. So don't make any hasty decisions, and don't rush into situations blindly. The Hanged Man is associated with the planet Neptune, and Neptune is basically associated with arts, with intuition, with our dreams. So all those things will be very strong this week, but it's also associated with illusions. Make sure that you see the situation, your situation, clearly, or if you feel that there are points that you cannot understand, or that things are uncertain or vague, then give it a few days until you are able to see things more clearly. For Scorpio, we had the Sun, and now it's the Devil. The Sun is a card of optimism, a card of success. It shows joy, friendship, connection, positive vibes. So last week you must have experienced some very positive moments, or you had fun with friends or with your partner. And the Sun also sheds light in situations that are vague or confusing. So maybe another manifestation of it for you could be that you were able to make sense of a situation that previously was confusing and uncertain. Now the Devil is a very different energy, because it shows that depending on how it will manifest for you, the Devil is very good for your ambitions, your professional goals, financial goals, because the Devil is the Lord of the material world. So all those things, material things, are favored under his energy. But at the same time, it shows in its negative manifestation, addictions, obsessions. And I'm not talking about substance addictions only, although that could be an issue, not necessarily drugs, but also food or drinks. But usually, in my experience, the Devil points to relationships that are abusive, or we have an obsession with someone and we know that something isn't working, but we cannot break free from it. Because under the energy of the Devil is there's always this element of captivity, as if something or someone is keeping us prisoners. So maybe you will feel like that this week, that there's a situation that isn't working, but at the same time you don't know what to do to break free, or you just don't want to break free. Now, whenever that happens, it usually has to do with deep psychological patterns, issues, wounds. So at the same time, this week you will get the chance to see a situation as it really is, and try to get a better understanding of what is going on inside of you and what is causing it. because you may find that what is causing it is something very deep, psychological, probably from childhood or from an emotional wound that does not allow you to enjoy a more balanced and a more harmonious relationship that will be emotionally fulfilling and healthy. The devil is associated with Capricorn, and that's why there may be a person in your life who's a Capricorn sun or ascendant, and this person will be involved in the dynamic I just described. The devil is the number 15 of major arcana. That's why you should expect that this energy, this dynamic, will change within 15 days, or in around 15 days you will feel that those emotions are not so intense anymore, and you will be willing to deal with it in a way that's more balanced and more filtered with logic. For Sagittarius, we had the Page of Pentacles, and now we have the Emperor. The Page of Pentacles is a new beginning that has to do with education, or a new beginning in practical matters, in career, or a financial idea you have and you want to cultivate and to bring into reality. In any case, you were probably dealing with the practical aspects of your life, or you decided to take a course to learn something new. And now the energy is changing because you have the Emperor. And the first big difference between the Page of Pentacles and the Emperor is that the Emperor is a card of maturity, while the Page of Pentacles and pages in general represent the young people or the kids in tarot, or the first stages of a situation. So there seems to be a shift, there seems to be a change from an early stage to a more mature stage. That's why it's very possible that this week something will get much more stable and much more structured, because the Emperor is a card of structure, of order. He loves order, he loves things that are very well defined. That's why you may feel the need this week to make something more solid, or to know where you stand with someone or in something, and you will do what it takes to achieve that goal. The Emperor is also someone in your life who's a fire sun or ascendant, an Aries most likely, but it could be any other fire sign like Leo or Sagittarius. And the Emperor is usually an older male in your life, a father figure or your father, and this person will be a very supportive, a very helpful influence. So maybe someone who's in a position of authority, or they have power in their hands one way or another, who will come to help you with something. Now, if you're wondering how someone feels about you, the Emperor, like we said, is very protective, and they want to do things that will make you feel safe, secure. But at the same time, and depending on whether they manifest the negative or the positive side of the Emperor, there can be very stubborn, very controlling, very manipulative, because they want things to happen in their own terms, and you may feel that at times it's my way or the highway type of thing. A strong day of this week will probably be Thursday, but I would make a note for Tuesday too, because Tuesday is the day of Mars, and the Emperor is associated with Mars. For Capricorn, we had the Eight of Wands, and now we have the King of Swords. The Eight of Wands is one of the fastest cards in Tarot, actually the fastest card in Tarot. And it shows surprising and unexpected events. So perhaps something happened last week and took you by surprise, or someone acted in a way that was very unpredictable and very surprising. And it feels that the same energies will continue this week, because with the King of Swords, will continue to develop, to move very fast, and maybe in such a pace, such a speed that you can't really keep up. But I urge you to remain calm this week, because under the energy of the King of Swords, you may say something that you will later regret, as this is a card that often foretells conflicts, contrasts, and the swords are associated with how we express our thoughts, how we talk, how we communicate, the messages we send. And this is a little disruptive, so there's a high risk of conflicts and arguments. And this king may represent someone in your life who's an air sun or ascendant, Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. And we had a very strong full moon in Gemini a few days ago, a very angry full moon. Maybe you were affected by it, seeing this combination. I wouldn't be surprised if this full moon affected you a great deal, and you are still under the energy and under the effects of this big contrast. My suggestion would be to give it a few days for things to calm down. And if you're wondering how someone feels, their feelings are not stable, and perhaps there was a misunderstanding between you, or they took something personally, or they said something and you took it personally. In any case, it appears that energies need to settle down first before you are able to communicate on a more harmonious base. At the moment, I'm not sure that you will be able to resolve an issue at conflict, as both of you have your own views and you have your own way of seeing things that's not aligned, and there's a risk that if you push an issue, it will probably generate even more conflict and more arguments, which is something that you don't want. The energy of nights usually holds for a couple of weeks, 10 days, 15 days. So give it that time for energies to shift. You will be able to communicate in a more balanced and calmer way. For Aquarius, we had the Five of Swords, and now it's the Knight of Pentacles. The Five of Swords is a card of strong conflicts, disagreements. Energies are very unstable and very weird under the energy of the Five of Swords. So perhaps last week you were dealing with some difficult energies, with some arguments or contrasts that you could not avoid. And that's not very surprising, because last week we had the full moon in Gemini, a very angry and nasty full moon that caused many trouble to people, many disagreements. So maybe you were a victim of that energy. But this week with the Knight of Pentacles, you should expect that things will start getting better, there will be improvement, because the Knight of Pentacles is an earth card, and earth cards in general offer grounding, offer a more solid and more stable base to stand upon, to build upon, and you will feel more grounded, more centered this week. And that will be reflected in how you deal and how you respond to others, but you will see that others will get more flexible and more diplomatic, calmer too. That's why this week you should try to fix things in a way that's practical, in a way that's grounded, without going to extremes. And I don't think you will go to extremes, because this Knight is very prudent and very methodical anyway. And maybe you are dealing with someone who's an Earth Sun or Ascendant, a Virgo, or a Capricorn or Taurus, and you will see that this person likes to go slow. They are not in a hurry, they will not make hasty moves, they will not jump into relationships blindly. So try not to pressure them, don't push issues this week, let things unfold organically, naturally. If you want to know how someone feels about you, their feelings are getting more stable. However, you may notice that they are a little bit reserved, as that's a characteristic of Pentacles court cards, and that's because they want to be sure of their choices. They don't want to make mistakes. They are reserved because they are weighing the pros and cons of a situation. They are weighing the practical benefits that they will get, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, and it's not really selfish, but because the emotional aspect of the situation is one thing, but the practical aspect is equally important. So if there's no compatibility or there are no common goals in what you want to do, what your plans are, sooner or later there will be big contrasts that you will not be able to overcome. So this person wants to make sure that there is this strong base to build upon. The energy of Knights in general lasts for about 2 weeks. That's why whatever manifests this week will continue to unfold in the coming 2 weeks, and it's then you will notice the culmination of a situation. You should remain patient, you should remain calm, and if there has been an argument last week, try not to add fuel to the fire and try to find solutions that are practical and solutions that serve all people involved. For Pisces, we had the Seven of Wands, and now it's the Justice. The Seven of Wands is a card of opposition, resistance, so perhaps your plans met resistance last week and people were not very helpful. In fact, they were opposed to your ideas, to your views, to your plans, and you had to defend yourself in some way or in many ways. But this week the energy is changing with the Justice, because the Justice, she is a card of balance most of all, and you will get the chance to balance things out, to bring more harmony in situations. And the way you will do that is through communication, because the Justice is an air card basically, and as we've seen, air is associated with our thoughts, with how we feel, with how we express those thoughts, with communication, with messages. So you will get the chance to find a more harmonious way of expressing yourself, and other people will be more willing to hear what you have to say and to interact in a way that's more harmonious and more grounded. Justice is one of the karmic cards in tarot. It's the card of cause and effect, and that means things you said in the previous days or previous weeks will have some results or some consequences, and you will be able to see those results or those consequences this week and decide whether you want to change something or to continue on the same path. Now, if you want to know how someone feels about you, it appears that this person is filtering their feelings through logic. And what that means is that they may try to do what is right for the situation you find yourself in, what is right for them or for you. And that could mean that they put their emotions aside. And also they are weighing the pros and cons of a situation or of your relationship. And maybe they are even trying to figure out what's in it for them. Now, that's not necessarily a selfish thing, because the emotional aspect of a relationship is one part of it, but the practical aspect or the logical aspect of a situation needs to be taken into account, and you both need to see whether there is alignment in what you want. So this week you will feel the need to see if what someone wants is in alignment with your own needs and your expectations. You will analyze the situation with reasons, with rationality, and your view, your vision will be very clear. So now you will be able to see things that you weren't able to see before. The Justice is the number 11 in Major Arcana, and that means that in 10 to 11 days, something will happen that will help you balance a situation. And also there might be news about legal matters if you are dealing with a legal issue, and the Justice is associated with legal matters. So if you had a court case or something related to law, now you will probably get good news, and it feels that you are coming to an agreement and things are being resolved. So these were the weekly tarot horoscopes for the week of December the 12th to December 18. I hope you enjoyed them, and I will see you again next week. Have a great week.